Hi, my name is Greg Geiman. I'm an 8th grade math teacher at Grant County Middle School. The activity that I'm choosing to use for this project is for Pythagorean theorem. It's an introductory lesson where the kids do some investigation into working with triangles. 8th grade math has a lot of geometry in it. They've already worked with right triangles in our angle unit, so they've done different things with right triangles. So the shape is not new to them, just the Pythagorean theorem part. So this is right at the beginning of our unit, and we don't give the kids too much instruction. It's a investigation activity where them and a partner go through to try to figure out different parts of the right triangle and find patterns and do some investigation on their own. This year, I'm excited to do this project. We've done it for the past few years, but I'm excited this year because my class just got whiteboard tables this year. So each group, each pairing, it'll be groups of two, will have a whiteboard and a bag full of Starburst. And then they will also be given a paper with a right triangle on it. And that's it to start with. And we're going to ask them some questions, some baseline questions. And me and in two of my classes, I have a co-teacher, will kind of guide the rest of the investigation as we're circulating through with questioning and trying to push them further to figure out things. The first thing that we ask them is to find the different sides of the triangle. Now, depending on the groups, this goes faster for some. Some don't need much help from us. Some need more help with questioning. But given that they're given a triangle and a bag of Starburst, a lot of them realize that they need to use these somehow to find those side lengths. You'll have different groups working at different paces, as all of us know. And we'll have some groups who catch on pretty quick and they realize, okay, I just need to line these up, and they'll have 3 across the bottom. And then they'll put 4 over here on this side, like this. And then they'll put 5 along this side. And then they'll go ahead and they'll write those sides down. What we do next is we have them raise their hand once they come up with an answer. And so I'll come around to that group, and that group may tell me and show me with their Starbursts that they've laid out that that's how that works. And I'll say, okay, do you think that works for every triangle, every right triangle, that you can just use Starburst to measure them? And most of the time you'll have groups that are like, I don't know, or maybe, or a lot of the time though, you'll have them realize, no, that's not realistic. It's not like you're always going to have a Starburst to measure those different things, so on and so forth. So what we'll do is we'll give them a second triangle. The second triangle is not going to be able to work out perfectly. So we kind of tier this. As they go on, they get harder and harder and more difficult problems. So we'll say, okay, test it on this triangle. And they'll go through the same process of trying to line these up. And we'll make it to where it'll work on the sides, but the hypotenuse will not be able to be counted with Starburst this time. You'll start to see frustration at this point, and some kids are then curious, like, okay, so why does it work on one and not the other? And if they don't come to that question, then we kind of push them towards that question, and we say, well, why do you think it works for that one and not the other one? Then we ask them to try to find a different way. And then you'll start to see kind of the fun part of the lesson where you'll have kids doing different things and trying different things and different activities until you finally get a group who sets up squares on all of the sides and realizes that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, as you all know. Once you get that group, we make sure to stop everyone where they're at, and we bring everyone to them, and we ask them to explain what they found to the whole group. Now, This doesn't always work. Sometimes the students aren't able to put into words, so we kind of lead the conversation at times. It's just dependent on the groups that come to it first. Then we say, is it realistic to use starburst to do this for every single triangle? And then obviously they come to the answer of no. So we ask them, what is something we can do? Normally we have a student, without us having to push too much or pry too much or use scaffolding, say you could draw a picture of a square on both sides and put the areas of those squares, and that should add together to be the area of the other square. And we say, okay, and then we draw a triangle on the board, another perfect right triangle that they're able to go through and find that area by drawing a picture. So it'll be a little bit bigger to where they can't use starburst to find it. So maybe a 5x12 right triangle, so that they can't use it, but they can draw a picture to where it works out. And then normally this is about, we have 50-minute classes, so normally this is towards the end of class where we don't have much time, so it kind of pushes to the next day, where once they're able to find that by drawing a picture, then they start to get that and be more comfortable with that and be able to figure that out. Then we ask them a question about a triangle that's not a perfect right triangle. So what would happen then? How do you find that? So on and so forth. And that just kind of guides the lesson. But some things I really enjoy about this is, one, having middle schoolers, as some of you all know, giving them tools that they can then eat once they're done using has been pretty effective. They enjoy that side of things. And also getting to see them brainstorm and fight through the frustration is really nice. And they seem to remember Pythagorean theorem more using this method compared to ways that we have taught it in the past. This will be our third year doing it, first year with the whiteboard table, so I'm interested to see how that helps them kind of put ideas and list ideas with other activities we've done. But this is a strategy that I really enjoy using and excited to see used this year. Thank you.